Hello, Mechwarriors, and welcome to the Mechbay, where we fix your mech and fix your game. What's going on, Mechwarriors? I'm your host, Josh. I've got my co-host, Lore Master Denim.
Howdy, howdy.
And Steve, the only Falcon to be given a letter of marque from the Khan to the scummiest vessel he'd ever seen, with me today.
I've heard that Halifax is nice this time of year.
And we are the Mechbay Podcast, your number one source for all things casual to competitive tabletop Battletech. And today's episode is sponsored by the one, the only, the Mechwarrior, Chris Ruffett. Are we going to put Chris to work in the armor factory?
We probably should.
Yeah, he's got to bang out all the dents. That poor mech got hit with an LBX. And you know what? The golf ball speed hole concept, I like it, but no, I want that. I want that urban mech smooth.
Just buff it out.
There are a lot of different types of armor now, so he's got his work cut out for him.
Good luck, Chris. Woo! We are back, boys. It's only been the normal amount of time for once. And yet time is a cruel mistress and marches ever onward.
Also true.
Yeah. All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about some physical weapons and some physical armors and your mental armors for the new core rulebook. But before we get to that, I think we got some hobby news, some hobby progress, some games played with a special section, and maybe some fan mail? Or are we saving that for a special episode?
Next one. We'll save that for the next one.
Yeah, we're saving that one. All right. Well, I think, boys, we should just get started. Big news. It's over. I think we talked about it last time, but now it's officially out. The Southern Assault packet for both Alpha Strike and Classic are out. They're live. And thus begins the next September, October, November. Oh my God, it's only 3 months.
Yeah, it is.
List building, list testing. If you're
gonna go fast.
Painting.
Oh, painting. Why do we do this to ourselves?
I don't know.
You think we'd know what we were taking every year, but no.
I've got some ideas about what I might want to bring, but then I think about all the models I have to paint. I think of another idea, so I have to paint less stuff. Josh, do you know what you're bringing?
I don't even know if I'm bringing anything, man. Last year we did both play the Alpha Strike and do the running of the Classic tournament. That was a lot.
It was a lot.
That was a lot. I think you can do one thing. I currently have thought, should I just do the first day of Alpha Strike, drop out, hang out, rest and recuperate, have fun?
I hope not. That's not fair to the rest of the opponents, especially the ones you played against.
What? Why? They still either get to go on or go down.
Yeah, I don't like going to a tournament and getting a bye because someone dropped out. It doesn't feel right.
I don't think Bobby does buys. Bobby always has a ringer.
Yeah, Bobby keeps all of your opponents equal, and then if a ringer has to jump in, he will. If he doesn't, he won't. But you'll always get a game.
Yeah, I say if you're going to be in there, go all the way. Try your hardest.
Okay. But no, for anyone who's never been, there are no pies at Southern Assault. You play, and you will always have an opponent. So,
which is nice. I mean, you pay for the ability to go play Battletech. You're not going to sit a game out, which would suck to pay that money and go there and not get to play. So Bobby does a nice job with that.
Yeah. Denham's judging me for playing one day and not doing the second day.
Oh, I 100% would judge you for that. You betcha.
And how was your second day, Denham?
My second day was great.
How was your first day?
Yeah, just great except for one game, but that's all it takes.
That's it. Yeah, you can find those packets that we're talking about. You can find those at fortressbattlegrounds.com, which is Bobby's website where you can find all the information for several different events, including Motor City, on that website as well, to get links to ticket purchases. I think he's got hotel information there. You can also find the packets on that website as well. So check it out.
I know a bunch of you asked for the director's commentary for the Southern Assault Classic packet. No. Not yet. How about that?
When we get to the event and the event is over, and you buy me a beer, we'll talk.
Yeah. And then we'll scream, and then we'll cry, and then you can buy us another beer. Well, that's it for the tournament news, but we do have some literary news. Steve, what do we got in the book bin?
These Violent Ends is part 4 of the Ghost Bear Dominion Civil War series put out by Brian Young. That is now out, which is very exciting if you're those types of people that want to wait until all of the books are out so you can binge read them in one afternoon rather than waiting months and months. So I have not started this series yet. I am interested, I think. I mean, I always like what Brian Young writes. Unfortunately, the subject matter is not my glorious and humble Falcons, so I'm less interested. But now that this series is over, maybe Brian will go back to writing about my glorious and humble Falcons, and I can get more of them soon.
Oh, well, for me, anytime the Ghost Bears kill other Ghost Bears, the Ghost Bear not fans are winning. So,
oh, that's funny.
Was that it for news, gentlemen?
That's all I can think of at the moment.
Yeah. Well, then let's move on to some hobby progress. Gentlemen, I've done nothing. Nothing at all.
That's okay. We take time to recuperate and get those creative juices back.
So, because this is the way it works, I have to now pick someone who's inspiring me. And I'm going to pick painter Jackie Daytona, who's been killing it getting mechs out. And I'm talking like multiple. And I'm just kind of like, please, can I have your motivation and willpower? Because like I'm looking at his Marauder 2, he's got a Vindicator, and he's doing like multiple schemes. Like he's just getting it done, and that's kind of what I need right now. So
I am consistently impressed by a lot of the stuff that people put out in the Discord. You know what I mean? Are you talking about his like Marauder that's black with the blue panels? Yep. I saw that the other day. That looked great. Yeah, I'm consistently surprised and impressed by what people put out there. And even when I see stuff that's a work in progress, I try to be positive and encouraging because, you know, painting is hard enough and getting the motivation to do it is also tough. So when you see people putting stuff out there, it's always, you know, good to be kind. So I think this stuff looks great, and I look forward to seeing more stuff in the Discord.
Yeah. He's even got my like Lyran Lance that I wanted to do. He's got the Atlas, the Thunderhawk, the Banshee, and the Zeus painted. And I was like, man, like, slow down, man. I wanted to get to that one.
I always like a well done Zeus. I just like how that mech looks, and with a good paint job, it's just icing.
Well, his looks great, but I will say I'm not a fan of the plastic Zeus. That's why at at Blue in the Brawlgrass, Steve.
Try again. Too much Malort.
yeah, too much Malort. Brawl in the Bluegrass. I got myself the Zeus X because for some reason Zeus have wings in my brain.
It's just that one. And I actually have a little plastic fins that I got from some other model that I am gluing onto mine to make it look like the one from the Maximum Tech cover because I like that experimental Zeus.
Yeah. But anyways, so that's my non-hobby progress. Steve, what's your hobby progress for me?
Well,
people want to know.
That's true. It's true. You're not going to be happy. I did paint and do some Battletech stuff, but not a lot of Battletech stuff.
Hey, it's more Battletech stuff than Josh did. So there you go.
I've been taking some time, you know, away from hobbying, trying to get creative juices back. I've been stressed out and not feeling it. So I've been playing a lot of Friend Slop and Managed Democracy on my computer in the evenings, rather than hunkering down at the paint table. Also had to plan a couple of children's birthday parties, that's an After Dark story.
Yeah.
That's been an adventure. But I did get a good number of my blackout models cleaned up from sprue and print stuff. You got to scrape all the little strings off them. I did some priming, some zenithaling, and some dry brushing. So hopefully I can now just block out color next week and get those guys moving. I repaired my avatar's arm that got broken. So that has been repaired and fixed. And I did start painting another Anubis because I am dumb.
Yeah, the Anubis fans, we are dumb, Steve.
They're fun. They're fun mechs. I like them. I just painting them is yuck.
Is this the OG version or the like long snout version?
So what I did is I have the original long one in metal that I used for my canopins. Mm-hmm. I have a really nice STL actually, and I had printed about a dozen of these things because someone needed 7 or 8, and I did a couple of prints to make sure that they came out properly. And I just found it sitting next to my 3D printer literally yesterday, and I'm like, what the heck? I'll paint another one. Why not? So this one is actually a 3D print of an Anubis because I've already got the metal one that I did it for my canopins. So
nice.
It's a sharp looking model.
Yeah. I think I've got 2 Anubis. The problem that's the problem. You keep collecting them, and they're all trash.
But that's it for me. Denim, what about you?
Since the starter box has come out, I have had the Contio on the table 4 times. So I figured I should really paint it because it's getting old putting out gray plastic. So I am painting up the hammerhead and the Contio in my Solaris colors. So it's like blue and yellow with some black highlights. And yeah, I mean, I'm using them enough that I want them to look nice.
Yeah, it is always more fun to play with painted mechs. I find it much more engaging and immersive to do so, which seems kind of silly, but I don't know, it just does it for me.
I mean, the rules. It gets to go out once until it gets destroyed, then it has to get rebuilt with paint, at least primered, and then each death you got to put another coat on.
No, I was with you up until the more coats. Nope.
I mean, it's I've primed it, at least I'm making progress. Then it's I put the base coat on. Okay. I don't have to do the details. Like that's the,
all right. So it gets better and better.
It gets better and better each time. You don't have to fully paint it, base it to play with it, but you have to at least do a step. Okay, it's gone onto the field. It's came back into the paint bay. The techs, repaired it. They added a little more pizzazz. If you need motivation, that's what you do. But no, I'm glad you're getting more colors onto your guys. Well, I think that's it for hobby progress. Shall we move on to games played?
Sounds good.
Oh, and here's
what'd you do?
Oh, I got a game in, sir. I got a game in against none other than Lore Master Denim himself.
Yeah, there was a game. It definitely was.
Yeah.
What did you end up calling this game we played?
A series of unfortunate events. Because, listener, this was probably the worst game of Battletech I've had in 6 years.
That's
You're welcome.
Pretty tall bar. I mean, that's like, you've talked about some games that have been pretty bad.
Just the way you said that, where it's like, that's the worst game I played in 6 years. You're like, I don't know, man. You've played some pretty bad games.
There have been a lot of episodes where he goes, man, this game sucked and I had a horrible time. And it's like, oh man, Josh, I'm really starting to hear that. And now he comes in again with, this is the worst game I've had in 6 years. I'm like, wow, you've talked about some other really bad games. So I can't wait to hear about this.
So I should clarify, not on the opponent side, not on the objective or mission side. This was just everything you try to do will go the opposite direction. So you might as well call this a learning experience or a series of unfortunate events. So it was a game. Was it a good game? No. I'll put it this way. I thought about asking Denim to re-rack after the first roll.
The first roll for initiative?
The first roll.
No, not the initiative.
Yeah, not initiative. That's not a real roll.
No, because you won initiative the first 4 turns. So
yeah, it's the only thing I was winning.
As the only person here who hasn't experienced this game, for our listeners and for me, tell me what happened. Who brought what? What made this game so terrible?
All right. So because this was a core game using the core rulebook, and we were going to use it as, okay, let's practice core with the thing we're going to have to be the TOs for, aka Southern Assault Classic. So we chose 8,000 BV and 50 BSP. That sounds pretty normal. We decided no objectives, none of the core rulebook missions. We just want to get core down and see if there's any edge cases or questions we need to have answers for. So it was a get the rust off, get the new rust on.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, the game took longer than it should have because even though we knew the answers to a lot of questions, we looked it up in the core book to confirm and make sure, so everything that we were like even slightly on the fence about, we're like, okay, this is where we're going to play it, but I'm going to look this up and we're going to read it together and make sure that we are in fact knowing this correctly.
Yeah, and we did pretty good. I think there was only one mistake, which was more of a I didn't pay attention to my sheet kind of mistake, but everything else was looked up and verified.
Yeah,
so
we did well.
Yeah, it was good in that sense, but I took what I consider a good, let's try new tech in core lance, my Lyrans. I took the Thunderhawk 7ZEM Thunderhawk. Unfortunately, that has an emergency boosted or emergency C3 unit, which is not in core, so it's not even core legal in that sense. So just bear with me.
It was an illegal mech, but yeah,
it's just it's the same as the other Thunderbolt 21. It just replaces 2 tons of ammo.
But the unfortunate part is that the other one would have put you over BV by 21 points.
Yeah, so 21. Oh wow. I didn't need that 21. I needed like 2100. Anyways, so I took that Thunderbolt Thunderhawk. I took the Goddard Damarung 30S, which is not the Pharaoh Lamb one. It's the Medium Pulses SRM6 Flamer one. Still torso mounted cockpit and everything, but yeah. I took the Heavy Goss Hollander, the S7.
Surprising no one.
Well, and I took the 7S Hunchback, which is some lasers, 4 ER medium lasers, and 2 SRM6s, and it's a 6.912.
And it's got tag, right?
It's got tag.
Yeah.
So I've taken in this, I've got 2 bins of swappable, so we're playing Southern Assault style rules. I've got the Thunderhawks, got 1 ton of semi-guided and 1 ton of Thunder LRM-20. Goddard Damarung only has 1 bin of SRM6 ammo, so I've put acid in there. And Hollander has no Heavy Gauss special ammos. I need that for next core. Core 2.0, give me Heavy Gauss special ammo.
No, they already got rid of the PSR check. No.
Heavy Gauss precision ammo. Yeah.
And for the Hunchback 7S, it has 2 bins of SRM6 ammo. One of them is Inferno, one of them is acid. And because we get 50 BSPs, I've taken a heavy cover, a foot infantry, and a Drillson.
Okay. All right.
Denim, what did you bring to our series of unfortunate events?
Yeah, I have a bunch of Karita stuff that I've been in various bits of painting. So I just grabbed what was on my desk. I grabbed the 2X Akuma because it had the MRM-40 with the Apollo, and I wanted to play around with that. Have the SDR 9K Venom single heat sinks, but it jumps 8 and has 4 medium pulse lasers. The standard Karita Blackhawk that just got ER large lasers and 4 SRM 4 streaks. And then the Shadowhawk 2C number 5, which can do a total of 9 damage because it has 3 AP Gauss and 2 plasma cannons. Yeah, so it goes 696 and sets things on fire. And then for my 50 BSP, I took a heavy air cover, a light bombing, and an LRM carrier.
All right. What happened?
So we'll give you the first turn. I win initiative. I deploy all my guys. I spread out a little bit. And then I bring my Hunchback on because it's a 6-9-12. The 12 is from the mask.
Yep, got to get in a position. Go.
So I'm like, let's get to the half of the field, like the halfway point. I want to set it up for next turn. So I roll that mask, and it rolls a 2.
Nice. Classic.
First roll, and I'm like, I've seen this before. I don't like seeing it. It's why I don't run mask. And of course, that's what happens. So then we had to stop, pause, and look up the new mask rolls.
Right. So, for example, if you roll a 12, it does not blow your leg off. This is the only time that does not happen. It does give you 3 crits. That's not what happened, but I was expecting it. So if you had rolled a 12, it would not have blown your leg off.
No. What does happen, though, is I roll before I move. It fails. I roll the crit. I only rolled one crit, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I guess, like, the better one would have been roll no crit. Unfortunately, I rolled one crit. Not 3, but 1. It became upper leg, so then I have to redo my movement then. And then I get to move. So I went from a 6-9-12 to a 5-8.
Okay, so you got a Charlie horse. It's fine.
Well, I mean, I essentially went half the distance I wanted to go.
That's true.
Yeah. But then I took my PSR when I stopped. Correct, Denim?
Yep, you did. Yeah, because you don't do it at the beginning of the turn anymore. You do your movement. So you roll to see if you get damaged. You did. So you modify your movement and then you move and then you roll for any PSRs that you take. You don't do it at the beginning. So you're not going to fall down at the beginning of your run. You're going to fall down at the end if you fall down at all.
And I did not fall down on that one.
You did not.
Yeah.
That one.
All right. Not a whole lot happened. My Thunderhawk got it set up. My infantry moved. Everybody else. I debated on doing stupider stuff, but in considering that happened, I was like, let's be a little easy here. The second unfortunate event thing happened. My Drillson hovered across the lake, did what hovercraft did, and unfortunately, Denim threw his Shadowhawk out there and hit with both plasma rifles.
So do you know what happens to an asset that you hit with heat damage, Steve?
Converts to damage.
It converts it to twice the amount of damage. 1 point of heat equals 2 damage. So I was rolling 4d6 and then multiplying it by 2. And that's what I was doing to any asset that I hit.
How did that go?
Yeah, it did. So it immolated it.
Yeah.
Okay, as I expected. Very good.
Now we
I needed a 5 to roll for the destruct check.
Yeah. Now we did get this wrong. We both rolled for the wrong who does the roll to see if it's destroyed.
I was supposed to roll to destroy his assets, but he rolled to destroy his assets. I'd rolled to destroy mine. It doesn't really change much, but the math feels better if you do it the other way.
Right, because you have to roll higher than the target. So if you're rolling for the status of your own BSP, you rolling high feels bad because you're blowing up your own thing. So it really ought to be, I'm rolling to blow up your stuff. So I roll high and that's good for me and I feel good and your stuff dies.
That was the exact thing that made us like rethink, like go back and look at that because if you rolled high, you're like, yay. Oh, wait, that's not a yay. Like, why isn't that a yay? That should be a yay. So yes, you're supposed to be rolling for the other person to blow up the other person's assets.
And shockingly, when I tried to attack Denim's LRM carrier, he rolled low and saved it. And I was like, if I had rolled it, it would have died.
I'm like, yeah, I rolled a 3. I win. Yay.
Yeah. So that was turn 1. The Drillson dies, but the tag does not go off. The tag was for his Blackhawk in partial cover and in woods, hoping my semi-guided Thunderbolts, which can ignore now both of those, could hit it. And it was like, great. That did not happen.
And your Hunchback did not make it into a position where it could tag anyone because it was slowed down. So you did do the Apollo attack at my infantry. Yeah, 15 hexes away, and I only needed like a 7 to hit from long range. It was great.
Now, the damage the infantry assets take was just doubled because it's AE.
Right.
Yeah, so you did 8 damage, which then went to 16 damage, but did not destroy the infantry. So they just degraded, which was fine. They're just infantry. They're 7 points. So that's turn 1, Steve.
Yeah.
We won't go through all of that, but turn 2, the Hunchback still able to move, tries to get into a better position to tag, I don't know, the Akuma, the Blackhawk, something. The Venom jumps behind it.
That's what Venoms do.
Yeah. He puts just enough damage in me to cause a PSR, and I've got an upper leg. So now I've got a single roll of a PSR, but it's plus 20 damage. And it's an upper leg, so I fail by 1.
Love it. I love it. That's some very standard Omaewa and Shindaru type stuff where it just teleports behind you and knocks you over or kills you. That's it. Good eye.
I wasn't dead, but it did.
No.
It definitely like it was his fastest mech. It was the one that could do the TMM4 on his side. And so far it's you got a damaged mask turn 1 and then gets knocked over turn 2.
Yeah, it was like great. I paid like the BV reflects something that can go 12 hexes. Yep. But it was not doing that. So that happened. The Hollander missed all of its heavy Gauss shots. And
well, it's because my Akuma, the slow guy who you could hit, was hiding behind a hill from the Hollander because he didn't want to get hit from both the Hollander and the Thunderhawk. And everybody else, you needed a 10 through 12 to hit. So, they all had partial cover woods and jumping modifiers.
Yeah. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Denim, but this is the turn the Thunderbolt did hit the Akuma with Thunderbolts.
3 of them. 3 of them.
Oh, no.
Yeah. 3 Thunderbolt 20s, and it hit the dead arm and the leg.
2 on the right arm and 1 on the center torso is what they hit, but nothing is in that arm. That is my shield arm. So I'm like 40 points. Bring it. I got plenty of that. And that center torso's got like 47 armor. So sure.
Yeah.
Could have been way worse.
Yeah. So now I'm lightly cooking. We'll move to turn 3 because this is when the bad things happen.
This is when the bad things happen, Josh?
Yeah. This is where it goes more downhill. So right now, my Hunchback has fallen over. My Hollander had no shot that it could really realistically hit because, well, he's the big target is behind a hill. Like level 2 hill, I should say. Yeah, right. So then that next turn happens. I win initiative again because that's how I'm going. Hunchback gets up. Denim moves out of position with his Akuma. His Blackhawk is staying in this, partial cover 1 wood hill with TMM0, but I just can't get there. And his Shadowhawk jumps. I want to say not behind, but
nope, not behind, just near enough.
Adjacent hex right side arc. So he could kick me. I could still torso twist, but I'm like, no, I can back up and out of this onto hex, back up, walk backwards uphill to get a kick because I'm a 3/4.
Because then it would be a kick on my head, which would be awesome.
And it's a Thunderhawk, which is 100 tons. So that goes to big kick damage on a little Shadowhawk. I was like, I don't need to take the heat, anything like that. Steve, you just need to pass a PSR to walk backwards uphill. I'm piloting 4.
Yep.
I roll a 3.
Yep.
Yeah. I fall down.
That means you slide down to the lowest elevation of the 2 hexes, whichever way it goes. And
back to where I was.
Back to where you were, but prone.
But what I did happen is I hit my head. So we've got 1 pilot hit already. So this is where we learned prone in firing with indirect.
That's good.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? You're gonna do it wrong. And I was like, he's going to put 2 plasma cannons on me.
Yes.
I'll just take the heat. This game is not going well already.
You prone fired 3 thunderbolts and you only went up to 5 heat. It wasn't that bad. You went up to 5 heat. But then the Shadowhawk did 15 heat from the plasma cannons.
So anyways, prone firing adjacent, I just have to use 1 arm, which the left arm has no weapon, so I use that, and all of the other weapons locations can fire. So that's the old prone firing rule, but now that's the new one. What happened though is it's a +2, and prone firing is +2. Then I have to add in all the indirects and all that. Still did some damage. But then I took how much heat, Denim?
Well, it maxed out at 15. I think I did 18 heat to you, but it maxes out at 15. Yeah. So you took a total of 20 heat from your weapons fire and my plasma cannons.
Yeah. And what happens? What are the 2 rolls that I need to make for that?
Shutdown, which is actually kind of hard, and then an ammo explosion, which is relatively easy to pass.
And which ones did I get?
Oh, you totally passed that shutdown check. So you were very conscious when your ammo cooked off for not 20 like we thought, but 40 points of damage because somebody has composite structure.
Yeah. So
and we got that wrong. So he was alive for 2 more turns.
Yeah, we got that wrong. Sorry, everyone. But what we did learn is, so the old rule was it was if all ammos are equal, it's a random one. And remember, the Thunderbolt has 10 tons of Thunderbolt 20 ammo in it. It's a lot of bins. I'm not rolling like randomly. Instead, now I, the owner of the mech, get to pick which of the equal.
Right. So
bins.
you still go which bin does the most potential damage, and then if there's multiples, it's which bin has the most ammo, and then if there's still multiples, which there were, the controller of the mech that's overheating gets to choose specifically which bin cooks off from those above criteria.
Real tactical decision, right, Steve?
Yeah, which one did you pick? The center torso one?
No, goodness, no. I wasn't willing to put him out of misery yet. He would have died, but I chose the right arm because, well, that's 20 points of damage. Or sorry, yeah, max 20. So that arm took 20 because we forgot it had composite. And then it went through and then went to we rolled to see if any more ammo bins went off on the right arm. They did not.
They did not.
Damage, arm destroyed, went to right torso structure. No crit roll there. So we're good.
And you ended up with like 3 points of internal structure left on that right torso because we did 20.
There were 3 taken off at that time. Yes. So I still had 18 points of structure.
That's
roughly.
what I mean. Yes.
So I'm cooking, but I'm still alive. Now, if we had remembered composite, the 20 actually does convert to 40 damage.
Yeah.
That would have been a very different result.
That would have been very different. But now we've learned shut down, heat, all those.
Yeah. So we're checking off a lot of boxes. Like we're going through this book chapter by chapter. And Josh is very kind to provide all of these examples of things that we can check with in the book. So we did. We got a lot checked off.
Yeah. I mean, let's get real. I knew what that Shadowhawk was going to do to my Team M0 Thunderhawk. The correct answer is he's going to hit me with plasma cannons. I'm just going to kick. So if I'm going to die, I might as well die learning.
There you go.
And all this time, the Hollanders shooting heavy Gauss rifles while moving, and it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, you don't want to roll 10s on that guy.
All right. So that turn is pretty much over. Denim, walk me through the next unfortunate event.
Right. Well, since your Thunderbolt was still alive, like in our game, I did jump the Venom directly behind that. You had shut down at this point, like on unconscious. Yeah, you failed your consciousness check because the ammo explosion, ammo explosion, which only does 1 pilot hit now. So you up to 2 pilot.
I was up to 2, and I rolled a 4.
You rolled a 4.
Guess what you need? A 5 to stay awake.
Oh boy.
So the Venom jumped behind. Even though the Venom was warm, the Venom did a target fire on the rear right torso, trying to kill it. It only hit with 2
using the aimed shot mode. But then the misses, because he was missing an arm, also converted over. So I did a lot of damage, but also got no ammo crits. But you did the new aim shot, which is instead of the need a 6, 7, or 8, now it's a 1d6, and you just need 4 ups, I believe.
The mathematics are exactly the same,
but it's a lot easier of a roll.
But now it's a lot easier. You just roll 1 die for the weapon. If it's a 4, 5, or 6, you hit the place you were aiming at. So yeah, the math is 100% exactly correct, or exactly the same. Which I liked better. It just felt right. You just roll the 1 die. Did I hit the location I was aiming at? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I did a bunch of fire and acid SRMs at something that has no special armors, and the -1. I rolled a 2, Steve, for my cluster hit.
Now you were doing a ton of damage to my Akuma, but you were spreading it everywhere.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Everywhere. And it has a lot. It's got maxed out armor, just normal armor, but it's maxed out, so it can absorb so much. Meanwhile, my LRM carrier is next to a level 1 hill, so it can't see anyone, and my Blackhawk, who isn't moving, is just spotting for indirect fire, and it does 9 groups of 5 for indirect fire. So it's a lot of fire power just raining down from behind a hill, and nobody can see it.
Yeah. Now, I want to go back. So I rolled a 2 for the acid SRM cluster.
Oh, yeah.
Denim got excited. He got ahead of us. Remember, acid SRMs are a -1 cluster. You cannot subtract any further. So it doesn't go. A 2 on a 6, cluster 6, is still 2 missiles.
Still 2 missiles.
You don't subtract any further.
See, and you had this as an unfortunate event. I see this as a win. You didn't have any ill effects. It's fine.
It could have been worse. It could have been a 0 if that rule wasn't in place.
Yeah.
See, you just got to change the framing of your.
Now, if I had AMS, then it could have gone to 0. But with just minuses to your cluster roll, it cannot go to 0.
Scream. But all this time, the Hunchback's just trying to walk away.
Well, that's why I was saying about the LRM carrier, because you didn't keep taking your Hunchback back to near the Akuma. You sent it after that LRM carrier.
Yeah, and it got there. It fired everything. It can run cool, so it fired everything. It fired 2 bins of Inferno SRM-6, missed 1, hit with the other, did enough damage to get your hit destruction check roll down to like a 4 or 5.
It was pretty low. Yeah. It was. I think it was a 4.
Yeah,
it was 4 with the heat.
And you,
because I know for a fact that I rolled a 3.
Yeah,
it was exciting.
Yeah, so that lived, but then because the arcs and everything you could not spot, so the LRM carrier shot back point blank, rolled. I want to say you did 2 groups of 10. They both hit the leg.
Yep.
Which did just enough damage to the leg to destroy it.
Yes.
And then we have to do a destroyed leg, all those rolls, which is still a roll. Like, it's still the 1 PSR. I automatically fall. My pilot roll is just the normal PSR. So he's got piloting 5. He falls. It's piloting 5. Like,
right. You don't add the +3 for the missing leg or anything on a seatbelt check. It's just a straight. The only modifier you can ever do to that is if you fall multiple levels, and it's a +1 for every like additional level you fall for that. But the important part about the asset, because it's an LRM carrier, assets don't have minimum range. So I didn't have any modifiers except for the woods that the Hunchback had run up into.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't love that, but I accept it.
Yeah.
But what happens is the Hunchback then falls. The leg is gone. It then rolls the fall damage. It goes to the leg. It then goes up to that location. I want to say that was attack, right, Denim? Or was it?
No, because it was the next turn, because you tried to stand.
I tried to stand.
Because you did this to yourself, and that was important.
Okay.
So it was the movement phase of the next turn that you tried to stand up, and you fell, and you tacked yourself, and you tacked like the leg that was missing, and it was then you hit some sort of ammo.
I hit the acid SRM ammo. But what we learned was, so all of what we talked about 2 episodes ago, where it's movement and a leg destruction, you go to a 1-2, like you ignore everything. Because I'm attempting to stand, a 1 movement doesn't get me up. So I can run.
You have to run in order to stand if you've only got 1 leg. Yes.
But I don't take the penalty for running with a broken leg. It's the 1 call out.
Yes, because normally it's if you run with 1 leg, then you have to make a PSR at the end of the turn. But because you don't leave the hex, you don't have to make that roll. So it specifies in the rule book if you've only got 1 leg but you don't leave the hex, you can run all you want and you don't have to make that end movement phase PSR.
Yeah. So we learned that. Because I wondered about that when I was like, well, that means I'm always running, which I'm always then taking a PSR to stand and then a PSR to immediately fall over. And I was like, that feels wrong. So we learned that is corrected. They thought that through. Thank Blake.
Yeah.
Because that would have been real bad if you're destroyed leg because I was like, it's a -1 to stand up now. I still fall because it's still hard to stand up without a leg, but it's easier. I still fall.
So if you had made your PSR to stand, then you would have been fine. You didn't make it to need to make a second one. Unfortunately, you missed again by 1.
I fell on my back in the location that the venom had done damage to in my rear left torso. Fell, rolled damage, crit. The 1 in the 2d6 location on that big old Hunchback left torso, I found the 1 bin of acid SRM ammo, destroying the Hunchback. So, Steve, are we having fun yet?
Yes. Because any game of sitting down to play Battletech is better than being at work.
I don't know, Steve. Excel can be riveting compared to this.
The Hollander at this point had been picked on by the Akuma, who just charged it. And it was standing in water. And I was a little disappointed about this. It was standing in water, and I was right next to it. So I fired everything and kicked it. And not only didn't I destroy it, but I didn't even knock it down into the water. I did take out all its ammo bins. So it just walked out into the middle of this lake. No ammo. It's got a big gun. I can't kick it anymore. It can't shoot at me. So I just ignore it. It's just nice little Hollander standing out there in the middle of the water.
And I did that because I wanted to do the walking in water rules, and that's it's 2 movement for every hex. Like think of it as a move into a hex, but also add 1 for water. So each movement costs 2. Now,
right.
Like I said, the Hollander survived a kick and full alpha from the Akuma. Not expected, but we learned.
Yeah, and because you were only walking in water, you didn't have to make any PSRs, which was very nice.
Yeah. Next turn, I did run, and I ran through 2 hexes of water, making a PSR for each one. Made those. So we learned that. The only other real thing that happened this game was the goddamn Aron lost all of its side torso, lost sensors.
Yeah.
Because he did crit me, hit my sensors, made me a +2 to hit. Or +2 for my shooting.
For all of your shooty weapons. Yep.
Yeah. Ranged attack phase weapons.
Yep.
The legal definition. It would finally get the last laugh where it did shoot everything at the Akuma. The Akuma falls down somehow. And the goddamn rung stays standing long enough to kick the Akuma down in the face.
Yeah, because it was full body table, and that's the one where you finally rolled
it's the
12.
One time. We're going to start this game with a 2 and end it on a 12.
And so we did exactly 12 damage, and that was my head, because no hardened armor there.
Steve, I'm tired.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I don't want to play core anymore.
Oh, so on a funny note, though, so my Akuma was dead. All right, it took so much damage and it was dead. All of my other mechs total had 5 points of damage, and it was just on the Blackhawk, and it was from when I, watching Josh walk backwards up a hill and fall down, laughed at him. I wanted to get up so I could have a better shot for the spotting for the LRM carrier. So I'm like, I'll walk backwards up this hill too. It turns out I didn't need to. I could have just walked forward and just turned one more. I had plenty of movement, plenty. But I declared I was walking backwards up the hill, did the exact same thing, fell, landed on my torso, did 5 points of damage there, and then failed my seatbelt check. So.
See, this is why you don't taunt people.
Yeah. So my Blackhawk pilot was too hysterical and slipped and fell on his own. But that's the only other damage that I took, except for that Akuma. That Akuma must have absorbed 400 points of damage, Josh?
Yeah,
it was so much damage.
The Hollander never hit with the heavy Gauss, which is my,
hole puncher.
Primary damage output, not the Thunderbolt 20s. It's the heavy Gauss Hollander.
Yeah, but that Thunderhawk hit with a lot for not being able to get any tag, because I isolated and eliminated all of your tag guys. You still hit a lot with those Thunderbolt 20s.
Yeah.
But you only hit the Akuma with them, and that's the one who could take it.
Yeah. The tag was there to hit the other guys, and I was like, dang it. So, yeah. But that was a good, fun game. I'm glad I say that line through my teeth, but we did learn so much. And now, because we've gone through that game, listener, you know all the bad things that will happen to you in the correct way.
And you can know that as your TO for the tournament, I've been there. I understand. I feel for you. However, I am in a hurry, so I'm going to tell you what the answer is and move on. But know that I will pour one out for you later.
Go. All right. Well, that was our game. Steve, you played a game of Battletech?
I did not play a game of Battletech.
Oh, no.
But I will play a game of Battletech. This is very exciting to me, and I want to mention it now because the timing's off. I'd love to have talked about this game, and I'll talk about it in the next episode when we're all together. But James is one of our patrons who is traveling to Detroit for work, and he sent me a message saying, Steve, I'm going to be in Detroit this upcoming week. Do you have an opportunity to play? And I said, I will make an opportunity to play. So I'm meeting James on Tuesday to play a game, which is super exciting.
Hey, yo.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I don't have a game to play, but I'm excited to play James next week. So looking forward to it. I'm supposed to bring 6,000 points of Jade Falcons. So we're going to try to be nice.
Choose the humblest.
Jade Phoenix A, Ion Sparrow.
A couple of Hero Falcons. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's the whole Falcon TOE.
Not to mention, it's also 14,000 points.
Yeah, but there's 6 pilots.
They're all trash.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have a game yet, but I will be. So I'm excited. Denim, you have a game played?
Yeah, actually. So remember last podcast, I was talking about how my wife and I played the first mission in the starter box.
I do recall you saying that. I'm not sure it's true.
Yeah. Well, this weekend, she said to me, hey, there's more than just that one mission in the starter box. Can we play the next mission? And I was like, I dropped my coffee. Like,
I don't believe you. I don't believe that happened at all. Knowing your wife, absolutely not.
I set it up and she picked the Contio again because she did so well last time.
Yeah, right.
And we set it up. I took the hammerhead. Turn 1, we both moved towards the middle of the map. She missed all of her shots. I hit with just the large pulse, and I hit her in the head. And she's like, what do I do now? I'm like, well, I hit you for 10 points, so mark off 10 points off your head. She's like, I've only got 9. And I said, you're dead. She's like, that's it? I'm like, that's it. I'm like, that was quick. Do you want to start again? And she looked at me, dead in the eyes, all seriousness, and said, no, I don't want to get burnt out too fast, so I think we're good now.
See, that's great. It took you longer to set up the map than it did to kill your wife.
So much longer.
A series of unfortunate events. Except it was not a series. It was an instance.
It's just one shot, first turn. Yeah. Yeah. And she's not put off by it. She's just like, yeah, no, I don't want to start over. That's all. She understands. She understands that's how the game works.
Oh, so just so I'm aware, Denim will let his wife quit after the one bad roll, but I have to suffer through another 3 hours of the...
Well, it wasn't one bad
mech
roll.
was dead.
Yeah, that's it. The game's over.
Yeah. She waited until the game was over before she decided to leave the table.
Fine. Well, like I said, we have a little bit of fan mail, but we're going to save that for a special episode with Steve.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So let's take a small break and we'll get back into our main subject, physical attacks and armor in core. If you are one of the hundreds of Mechwarriors living with tinnitus, infertility, heart palpitations, anxiety, or even death, you need to hear this. Some battle mechs listed in the report by Comstar titled Experimental Technical Readout have been found to contain untested equipment. If you or a loved one have piloted a battle mech with the prototype improved jump jets, quadruple strength Myomer, or even prototype double heatsinks, you may be entitled to compensation now. Hi, I'm Dale Cannon. Please call me today. We will fight to get you the justice you and your family deserve. All right, and we are back. Gentlemen, I'm proud to announce that we got a lot more armor and technically more physical weapons.
Yeah, well, at least in core, in like in the main book.
Yeah, like we have less weapons than before because we got rid of all the industrial mech ones, which we talked about. They'll be in the industrial mech book. But hey, we got more armors. That whole rock, paper, scissors problem, there's a lot more rocks. Some of them are paper.
They cleaned it up too so that there's not like the one best armor to take and then some subpar and then some crappy ones. Like they all do something special now, which was important.
We talked about this when we were looking at these in the playtest rules, and I was excited then, and I'm excited now. The fact that they made each of these feel more distinct, right?
Yes.
reflective no longer also gets the heat shedding ability and everything else.
Whoa! You're
no, I'm just
mentioning, man.
No. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in all sorts of detail. But my point is, each of these now is distinct from another.
Correct.
Right? It feels more unique, which hopefully, fingers crossed, a little plug here, that if we go this way and they keep this momentum going in the MUL, we're going to see a lot more distinct units in certain MUL factions. So not everybody gets everything all the time. Maybe.
Maybe.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. So you ready to dig into this armor update?
I am.
We can try.
All right. Well, we're just going to go down alphabetically through the core book one by one. So we're going to start with something new. This was not in Battle Mech Manual. This was TAC Ops. It's now here. Anti-penetrative ablation armor, also known as ABA.
I'm super happy this is in here because the Grand Dragon in the Creator pack has this. And this brings it into legality. So it's not just like, oh, I can't take that variant because it's in the TAC Ops book. Sorry.
I'm not sure why it's in TAC. I mean, other than the fact that it might have been developed later, but its abilities are not terribly outrageous, right? I mean, ABA simply does immunity to armor-piercing effects and immunity to attacks.
Yep.
Nothing crazy.
Yep, you cannot be critted out if you're wearing this.
It was in TAC Ops because it came out about the same time as the tandem charge SRMs because it was pretty much the counter to that. So it was just in the same book.
I mean, my initial thoughts is, sure, the armor to weight ratio is not perfect. Like, you're not throwing this on every mech ever, but no crits, no tax. Like, even your AP ammo not doing anything. Like, your whole shtick is you do not get critted on. Like,
yeah, somebody at Catalyst really didn't like Dustin, is what I'm guessing. And he's like, I'm going to make this anti-golden BB armor. That's all I'm going to do. That's all it's there for.
Well, I think that this might see a little bit more play, especially in groups that use a lot of LBX weapons, right? Trying to get those golden BB spam, right?
I mean, I don't even think that. I think this is much more like, hey, we just talked about AP ammo and all those. If you're running like the longbow in AIS with, what is it, like 8 LAC 5s on each arm, like that's a lot of AP. You're gonna get a crit. Against this, it doesn't do crap.
Yeah,
like now that the crit roll is better for AP ammo, we needed something to balance it out. And it's like, I don't think there's a lot of anti-penetrative ablation armors, Max, but hey,
there's more than zero.
There's more than zero.
Yeah, and it's weird because I play that mech and I played it several times. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for someone to get attack. And I don't think I've ever gotten attack rolled on that mech. And it's very sad because I'm just like...
It's doing its job before it even happens, man.
It makes me sad. I want to use it. I want to call it out.
So. Denim, if that's the worst curse you get playing Battletech, you're doing just fine, man.
You don't need help. Blake says you're fine. All right. So we want to move on to the second armor?
Yep.
All right. We're talking about ballistic reinforced. Against direct ballistic and missile, each armor dot absorbs 2 points of damage to a minimum of 1. So your SRMs that do 2 damage each now do 1 damage. Your LBXs in cluster mode, each pellet does 1 damage because it's reduced to a minimum 1. Your AC-20 reduced to 10 damage.
So it feels like a more targeted Feral Lamb because it doesn't reduce damage from energy, but all autocannon and missile weapons it does reduce.
Yes, but by half. Instead
of 1 out of a kind of. Ugh, yeah, okay, I get it.
So how we feel about this one? Like the drawback of this one is, of course, the crits and all that, like the tech manual stuff. There's no downside for it. Like no energy doesn't do extra, like you said, Steve. It's just against ballistics and missiles.
I would have to think the downside on this is a BV cost whenever they get around to fixing those or calculating for those, because this I'm sure there's also weight restrictions when you get into the nitty gritty of how to design
You
this.
don't get as many armor dots per ton.
Right. That's got to be how. I just don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, and it's also you have to, like, especially with a lot of these armors, you have to be playing with the meta. Like you have to be thinking, what is my opponent likely to bring weapon wise, and what do I need to bring to counter that? And if you're playing against, Davian forces with a lot of autocannons, maybe this is a good idea.
Oh my God, I gotta bring some of these mechs against some of my locals who just bring all the Gauss rifles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? The Greyhound for Southern Assault 6 has ballistic reinforced armor.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so it can run up against those ATM HE mechs, get in their face, do some stabbies, some machine guns, some kicks. It's only taking half damage, so.
Now, unlike hardened armor, something that does 5 points of damage, you're going to count like 1, 2 for 1, 3, 4 for 2, and then that last one still takes off an entire point of armor.
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't do half damage like you do with hardened.
You count
all or nothing.
The dots or blips of armor that have been taken off. That's the best way to do this.
You divide by 2 and round up.
We just need to standardize the way we do this, and hardened screws everything up.
It does. Hardened is weird.
Yeah. So, all right. Do we want to move on from ballistic reinforced? I love it, though. I love it. If there was an armor here that I'm like, that's my favorite one, this is it.
Oh, wow. The ballistic reinforced was your favorite one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, next, we'll move on to Ferro Lamellar. Not a whole lot change. We're still doing the reduce every group of 5 by 1 shenanigans as before, but we no longer are immune to AP ammo. Which I did not even, I did not even realize it was immune to AP ammo before.
Oh yeah, the Ferro Lam used to be, it was like one of the best armors to get. There was almost no reason not to, because it did so many things.
Yeah. But we just weren't using AP ammo before because it was so bad. So, what were you saying, Steve?
Oh, I was going to say this is an outrage.
Why?
I'm just mad. No, I'm not seriously mad. No, it's Ferro Lam. I mean, I like Ferro Lam. A lot of my Ravens have Ferro Lam, so I use it. I also kind of overlooked the fact that it was immune to AP. But again, AP used to be trash, so no one ever took it, so it didn't matter, right?
It's also less effective to ATMs as it used to be, because ATMs are now in groups of 6, not groups of 5.
That's true.
So
but that's a change to ATMs, not a change to the armor.
Yeah.
So okay, but I just want anyone out there thinking that Ferro Lam is just the same with damage reduction. There are exceptions now.
I mean, it does the exact same. It's just damage for just specific weapon. No, Jenna, we're not going down your birdwalk train where ATM effects. No. Next armor, hardened armor.
This is one of my favorites.
I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like these changes.
There were there were no changes to hardened armor.
I don't know if I like that.
All right, Council, how do we like that? I mean, hardened. So we have to talk about what it did. Hardened is for every point of damage you take, you do a half bubble. Unlike how we just talked about for ablation armor, that was damage takes 2, and then there's the PSR penalty and the speed penalty. That's it.
Yeah.
So there are technically 2 negatives to that, and there's not any negatives to the other ones.
Here's my thing about hardened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like hardened armor. I think it's good. The PSR penalty is present, and it has bit me more than once. But I think I would feel less bad about hardened armor if there were more mechs out there with re-engineered lasers.
Yeah.
Right, because right now, re-engineered, I think, is the only thing that counters hardened, and there are not that many mechs out there with RELs, right? It's just not a ton.
Yeah. Well, we do now have acid SRMs, which are not reduced, so they do the full
2 points.
They don't do the full 3; they do the full 2.
Yeah.
So that is what you slam into the regular SRMs, and then for AP ammo, it's not reduced either, I don't believe.
Yeah, AP ammo is treated as normal ammo for against hardened armor. My thing about hardened armor that I like, Steve, is that you've got less head capper weapons. I mean, an AC-20 will still give you a crit check on the head, but a PPC, like you still have almost 20% of your armor left. You can take a hit to the head with one of those head capper weapons and be fine. And I have lost so many pilots to just getting their head blown off because everybody likes their PPCs, everybody likes their Gauss rifles and AC-20s, that this is a way where I can stay in the game. And that's what I like. Is it removes just a little bit of that one-shot dead luck out of the game.
Yeah, I get it. It's just when you slap hardened armor on something with 1 billion torso armor already, right?
Now the weapons.
I mean, well, still.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
It is. And again, if we were to take more re-engineered lasers, I don't think that the re-engineered lasers are going to do head capping.
Nope.
So
there are no head capper re-engineered. So yeah, bring more mechs with re-engineered. I'm fine with that.
But we just don't have them, Denim, is the problem.
Not yet. We also don't have Apollo weapons. So new mechs coming out with new TROs. Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot more re-engineered lasers.
I hope so.
I think the next TRO will have a lot more of the new TAC Ops level things that are here.
Hope so.
Yeah. There will probably they will probably design a mech that has a single autocannon, a couple re-engineered lasers, and an SRM, so you can go full anti-special armor.
Love it.
Yeah,
the
rock paper scissors Mark II.
It is the gun. Yeah. Rock paper scissors.
Exactly. No, we already have the Gwyn.
The Goon. The Gween, I don't know.
I was actually informed it's pronounced Gwyn, and I was like, oh no.
There was no W, there is no E. Nope.
Yeah. So yeah, hardened. It's still there. We just have to work around it and all hate that one. Next armor, heat dissipating armor. I can't even remember if this was BMM or TAC Ops, folks. I'm gonna be honest. Half of these special ones, we just didn't use them because there's like 3 mechs from the Dark Age Clicks game that had this.
And the real answer is very few of these are from either because they've been changed. Yeah. So I'm just treating these as new armors, except for obviously hardened because it did not change. These are just new armors because they have changes. They do different things.
All right. So the full rules for heat dissipating armor: damage from heat causing weapons is halved. So if you
the halved is in the final damage is rounded up. So 5 does 3 points of damage.
So your plasma rifle, that's a heat causing weapon. 10 points goes to 5. I like that. Flamers does 2 damage. It goes to 1. I mean, that's not really a whole lot. And I can't really think of any other major heat causing weapons besides the upcoming light plasma rifle and heavy plasma rifle. Yeah, like those are what I think of when heat causing weapon, right?
Right, but also you got to think like Infernos just don't do anything to you.
And that's the next thing. So, and heat from external sources is reduced to 0. So you are immune to Infernos. You are immune to the heat plasma effect. You are immune to walking through a woods on fire, which is now a core rule because fire is simplified but integrated deeper into core now.
Plasma cannons don't do anything to you either.
Yeah. So, yeah, the damage.
I'm sad about that.
I mean, hey, you have your rock. I've got my paper, and I did like how they added in the footnote. Magma only does damage; it does no heat.
That's cool.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, Magma not being in the core book, but it is in a map pack that they've recently released, so you can find the rules there.
I was very disappointed at that. Like, come on, just put Magma rules in here. Really, come on. That I got a little angry on that one.
100%. That was a timing. I don't have any official source for this. I am guessing, but it seems like a timing issue thing where this book took so long to come out that they were already past that phase before the Magma rules came out for the map pack. And it was just, there's no way that they were going to be able to put that in there, which is a shame. I think Magma should have been in here.
Yeah. Well, they've already had the errata come out for this, which add the avalanche and snow rules. So it's like, oh, that new map pack that we were making alongside Core, we could not stop that from coming out. So so heat dissipating armor. I also like this. I'm going to put this one as my number 2 for new weapons, or new armors, I should say.
Interesting. I think this is fine. I don't know if I'll use it. Again, right? Plasma rifles. There's some plasma rifles out there, but I don't see a ton of them. And normally the mechs that they're on are pretty expensive. So we don't see a lot of that used locally. I don't think I've ever had flamers be a real problem. Not a lot of folks run Infernos by me. So it's neat. I like it. The magma doing no heat would have helped my campaign players for the last mission we were on, but it's interesting. I just don't know how much use it's going to get unless they really start ramping up the prevalence of plasma weapons.
In tournaments and pickup games, I can't see me caring about this at all, but our Solaris games had so many heat-based builds because you can do like custom mechs. This is going to be a game changer for that, because you never know if your opponent is going to have that armor, and that negates so many dedicated builds.
There are 5 heat dissipating armor mechs according to Mechbay: Catapult 2, an Ebony, a Striker, a T-Tsang, and a Warhammer 2C. So, yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. We ready to move on to the next one? Yeah. All right. We love it. Maybe. Impact resistant armor. It's a thing.
Yep.
So, for impact resistant armor, building collapses and falls damage is reduced by half. So you take half damage on a fall, or you take half damage when you fall. That clear, perfectly reasonable. Then it gets a little weird. You take, if physical damage to you is reduced by 1 point for every 3 applied. That's a little weird. Like, out of all the other things, this one deviates, and I don't know why it deviates.
So if you take 9 damage, you would only take 6.
Yeah.
Correct. But if you take 1 damage, you take 0.
Yes, because
there's no minimum. There's no minimum reduction.
Yeah, and it's fraction. It's 3 points applied or fraction thereof. So 1, 2, and 3 reduce the damage by 1.
It's Pharaoh-Lamb of 3.
Yes.
But only for physicals.
They actually did a lot of reworking for this one. They removed the hull breaches thing. They removed crit check. They technically increased the damage prevention stuff from all the others. I'm like, it's better, but why we could have just said half damage from physicals. Like, was that too strong?
I think so. I think that was play tested, and I think half damage was far too much.
Third damage is not? Okay. What? I don't know, guys. You can just shoot this.
Building collapse is important for this one because of how many of all the new urban combat changes they made and put into this book. There's going to be a lot more buildings falling on people. And if you've got some urban mechs and hatchetmen hiding around in buildings that people keep collapsing on them, this is going to keep them alive for just that little bit longer.
There are 6 mechs with this armor, according to Mechbay. A Berserker, a Celerity, a Night Stalker, a Porcupine, Solaris, Storm Raider, and a Tessin. It's also Solaris. So, yeah.
I'll be honest, a Berserker with impact-resistant armor is a terrifying concept.
I mean, it's got a bomb-ass laser. It's got TSM. It's got Angel. I mean, it's doing some things.
But we couldn't have Magma in the book, huh?
You know what? The Lear in me kind of needs this one. So, yeah. It's okay. I mean, it'll be more effective once we get more things with it. We need a lot more of the medium tonnage mechs to have like a variant, like just the generic stuff. Shadowhawks, Riflemen, like those. We need the things everyone has with the special armors.
Yeah.
All right. We ready to move on? We've got Laser Reflective. Ye old reflective armor.
I love this. And you know why I love this? Because so many people just, pulse spam or PPCs, all of it, right?
Large pulse lasers. This is great against that.
Yeah. So
walk me through it, Steve.
Lasers flamers, PPCs, plasmas, all absorb. This is just like the ballistic reinforced, but with lasers and laser type weapons, right? So it absorbs 2 points per bubble to a minimum of 1. However, you take double damage from physical attacks, and the old way of doing this, it used to reduce heat received by half. That is now gone. So you take full heat like you normally would, because I'm sure when they were designing this, they thought, hey, laser reflective is just straight up better than heat dissipating, and they wanted to kind of separate those two. So now laser reflective no longer gets the heat having effect. So does this, I was going to say, I thought it also included double damage from artillery or an area of effect attacks.
Yeah, any area effect. So those Apollo MRMs, you might be able to do some fun stuff with that.
I mean, you got fast things like gunsmiths. If they get into woods, it's real easy to do some damage, and then that damage is doubled.
Yep.
So I like laser reflective. Just, I mean, not to use. I mean, it is cool to use, but a lot of people that take those laser boats to avoid ammo explosions, right? It's like, all right, you can take this and kind of mitigate some of that spam.
Yeah, there's 144 units with reflective, and 56 of them are mechs. So, yeah,
I think this might be the most prolific secondary armor type out there. I think
so. Out of like these,
yeah. I think this was one of their attempts to reduce the effectiveness of pulse lasers early on.
Yeah.
They've been trying so hard when the answer was right in front of them, not B -2. Yeah, there's more reflective than there are hardened, and yet hardened are the problem, right, Steve? It's okay. I got a dog on you.
No, but I mean, here's the thing: when you have laser reflective, you can just walk up and punch it and do double, or kick it and rip a leg off. I mean, that's the counter to laser reflective. The counter to hardened is what? Force them to take a PSR doing 40 damage. They might get a +1.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, looking at his Viking 2C on the tabletop.
But laser reflective shines when it's on a high TMM mech, because those are the ones that are running around that you're using targeted computers and pulse weapons to get. So being able to run up on them and do a physical attack is not going to be easy.
But now with precision, right? Those high TMM reflective,
precision would be
precision's going to reign king, right? I mean, it's what I like about a lot of these changes is they did a really nice job with the ammo changes, with the armor changes. We talk about this rock, paper, scissors. It feels much more find your counter. There are counters out there for people to make use of. So I think it's nice.
I mean, there's a reason why some tournaments previously were like, this is the amount of special armor you can take in your list. Like, there's a little too much of one or the other, and you can't build your whole list. Now, all of these have their own place.
Yep.
And fun fact, we'll see with Southern Assault if there's any like
distinct winners.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that. Like, definitely we need the new TROs with the new mechs with new armors, but until then. All right, we ready for the next one? Reactive armor. I got thoughts, boys. So reactive armor, area of effect and missile, it absorbs each bubble absorbs 2 points of damage for every one, minimum of 1. So just like ablation armor, just like
you keep saying ablation, but it's not. It's ballistic reinforced, because anti-penetrative ablation is immunity from armor piercing. Ballistic reinforced.
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, you said that for
4 of them.
Yeah. So it's ballistic reinforced, not the ablation armor.
Gosh. Give them better names, everyone. So anyways, yeah, it does that. It used to be immune to AP ammo. That is no longer that one's job. That's ABA.
It's a bummer. I liked that ability on reactive armor. It made sense to me.
Yeah. So that seems fine. Like all that area effect and missile. This is the anti-missile explosive damage. Guns still do normal damage to it. Lasers still do damage to it. This is what, modern tank armor really is. I do not like the next part, which still is there. It's been rewritten, but still. So if you are attacked and a crit is rolled and you roll onto an armor crit slot, that is a grayed out crit slot on your record sheet. You move on because it's not real. Like, you find something that's actually damageable. Except on this, before you move on, you roll to see if you blow up that armor slot on a 2d6 roll. And on a 2, all the front and rear armor of that location is gone, and you take 1 internal damage and then start the process. And I'm just like, guys, a 2d6 roll? Like,
a 1 in 36 chance of all of the armor just exploding at once, because kaboom, and it all falls off.
did we need that, really? Like,
Again, right? This sounds like a unique and different drawback to reactive, just like laser takes double from AE and physical. But we don't have that for hardened, right?
yeah, my thing is like, okay, 1 out of 36 times of you being crit,
Which isn't going to be that often.
which is not going to be that often. I'm just like, did we... I have
Hey.
the mentality of, did we need to have this written in? Like, is this a fun flavor thing, or is this a game balance thing? Because it's a 1 in 36 chance when it's crit, when that slot specifically is crit. That's it.
Well, but you got to think about it, right? So first you got to get shot. It's got to go internal. Then once it is internal, you got to roll. And then you got to hit the reactive armor slot.
Yeah.
Then once you hit that reactive armor slot, you get a 2.7% chance of blowing off all the armor. It's not going to happen that often. I mean, this is one of those situations where just because it's a possibility does not mean we need to scream that the sky is falling, because I
when
don't
it
think
does
it's gonna
happen, people are going to talk about it.
It'll be wild when it does, but I just don't see it happening that often.
Yeah.
And
It's
plus,
not.
Josh, I know you got the count. How many reactive armor mechs are out there?
I know the Zeus we were just talking about, my Zeus X has it.
So at least 1 out of a couple thousand.
At least one. I forgot what it's
While
called.
he's looking that up,
Yeah,
Steve,
reactive.
hardened armor. You do mention the +1 PS to PSRs, but you keep forgetting that it lowers your running speed by 1, and it may seem like a small thing, but that's actually a huge thing. When anything that permanently slows a mech down, it definitely matters. That is my biggest drawback to hardened armor, is that when you get a 6-9 but it only gets 6-8, you're used to using 9 movement points to get to where you want to go, and you can't do it anymore. It's a big deal. It's a bigger deal than it seems.
I mean, to trade for 40 damage for a PSR, I might take it.
I think that's the thing, is if the PSR for Harden was based on damage done, not blips, done.
If it wasn't, yeah.
I think Steve would be perfectly happy.
If you
100%.
spread the damage out, if you spread it's 40 full pips. So if you're hitting people all over the place with 5-point clusters, those half points don't count. You don't add 2 half pips to get 1 full pip. Like, it could be a lot more than just 40 points of damage.
Denim, did you switch sides? You're making my arguments for me now.
I like hardened armor.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's really cool. But I think of all the armors that have this damage reduction ability, we see some sort of downside. I'm not saying that there are no downsides to hardened, but I don't think that they're equivalent. I mean,
so not to steal the limelight from reactive, but where are we putting this one on the chart? Like,
oh, how much is in reactor? How many?
So there are 17 mechs with reactive. 8 of those are werewolves or Zeus X's.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think reactive is cool, right? It's going to stop some of the artillery stuff. It's going to stop some of the indirect fire, the Apollo.
Ooh, I get a pirate Huron warrior with reactive armor, a large X-Pulse, supercharger, and silver bullet Gauss. And it's a pirate's unique. So you know what? I think I know where that's going.
The Huron warriors are cool mech. I like that mech.
My problem with reactive is that because it doesn't block AP ammo and it's just area of effect and missile, the big problem is that ballistic reinforced also reduces damage to missile. I would take ballistic reinforced over reactive every single time.
Especially because you don't have the downside.
Yeah, we don't have that much area of effect, and there's not a small percentage chance of just losing all of your armor.
Yeah.
So I would take it 0 out of 10 times if ballistic reinforced was an option.
Yeah. But the Draconis Combine put ballistic reinforced on their mechs, and they have all 22 essentially mechs that gets. And reactive, it looks like it's a little bit more spread out to everyone tried it once.
That's cool. I mean, like, I like to see these. I just wish we had more mechs out there that use them. That's all. And give me, like you mentioned on some of the other ones, Josh, I want to see more classic sculpts with some of these armors. Right?
That's 100% what we need. Well, do we want to finish out the last armor?
I mean, we are going alphabetically. I suppose we should.
So we're going to say this. It did not change. Stealth armor. It's still there. It still does the same as before. It needs an ECM suite. It costs plus 10 heat to activate it and run it every turn. If you're being attacked in the medium range bracket, it's a +1. If you're in the long bracket, it's +2. You cannot be made a secondary target if you have stealth armor. You cannot be spotted by probes in missions.
If you're a hidden unit.
Yeah. So it's the same as before. And when you look at all the other ones, I was like, man, stealth armor's kind of lame. It was always lame, but now it's actually lame.
You have to name your pilot John Cena, too. That's in there.
It's required.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I like stealth. I don't use it very often. The 10 heat just feels like such a... I don't know. 10 heat's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
That's I'll be honest, like that Contio that we just got as a full mini, it has stealth armor. It uses that 10 heat to proc its TSM. When you can't hit it from far away because it's in woods and it has a +3 at long range, and then it kicks up and runs 16, so it gets in front of you real fast with those claws that do 12 points of damage each on the punch table.
Yes.
It's terrifying. Stealth armor is exactly perfect for that kind of mech.
Love it.
Perfect.
I mean, getting a +1 at medium, if you are moving and your attacker is moving, it still is helping you. Like, it's just how you have to make sure that you're on the right side of the bell curve rather than the wrong side, because you can't help it if you're on the wrong side.
And it's not based on how far away from you are from your target. It's based on the weapon range profile of the mech attacking you. So it can change drastically from not just from mech to mech, but from like what it happens to be shooting at you. So, you know, your medium laser gets a +4, but your ERPPC is unaffected.
There's 112 stealth armor mechs.
It's been around a hot minute.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's fine. I don't think it's outrageous. I mean, the 10 heat gets expensive if you don't have TSM, right? It stops you from, alpha striking most stuff. But it's a neat armor. I don't think it's unbalanced.
Yeah. It's good
cool.
for things like archers that are standing in heavy woods with stealth armor on, but they're not moving at all. So it gives them that extra protection while they're raining fire down. You know, there is a use for it.
Yeah. All right, folks. So we covered armors. We feel good about those. We feel like, I think we can just say Hardened could have changed it a little bit, and I don't think anyone would have been mad.
I think reactive is the weakest of the group. I think that's the one that actually could have used a little bit of a buff instead of a nerf.
I mean, you think like missiles divide by not even half. Like I don't even know. Like,
but I'd take ballistic reinforced instead.
Yeah. So
because then it also blocks the autocannons instead of waiting for artillery strikes to hit me and then having a chance of all my armor falling off in that location. I think there's too many downsides. It's not effective enough against enough things, and I think other armors do the thing that I wanted to do, which is protect it against missiles. So unless it's like way more cost effective, whereas like how many points of armor you get per ton or whatever, I think reactive armor is the weakest of all these. That's my opinion.
I think I have to agree with you. I don't know, maybe the anti-penetrative ablation armor, just because, I mean, I don't see a lot of people using AP. The immunity to attacks is great, but again, that's a 2.7% chance on every roll. So, I mean, it'll be there. It'll help you. There aren't any real downsides to the ablation armor like there is with reactive. But I think I'm going to get shot with a lot more missiles than I am tax. So
I think you could have made it just like reduced by 2 for every group of 5. Like, cool, this is SRM proof. Like,
yeah, something like that would have been cool.
The minimum 1, like, okay, cool, SRMs do 1 point of damage. It's like, I think you could have just said it. SRMs are, we have LBX proof armor, and then we have LBX still does 1 armor. This is just weird.
Yeah.
I think in general,
it's got more downsides for what it does. That's all.
And I think in general, though, the armors feel good. They feel distinct. Now we just have to sit patiently and wait for them to be implemented on all sorts of mechs. So whenever they want to get to that, that'd be great.
All right. Well, do we want to take a quick break, then get to the other half of the coin? The things that do damage to the armors?
Do it. Hi there, Bill Shift here with Mech's Tape, the Inner Sphere's strongest and most reliable hard gel-based mech repair tape. Did you take a PPC to the cockpit and need to seal in a jiffy? That's a lot of damage. Then you need Mech's Tape. Trusted by Mechwarriors everywhere, it has over 9,000 applications. Are you out of armor plating in the field and need a quick fix? Mech's Tape. Did your senior tech get blown up in the last orbital bombardment and need to do the repairs on your own? Mech's Tape. Your heatsink gets shot through and you're losing coolant fast? Mech's Tape. Straight from the Krenzi cluster, invented by the top of the scientist cast, our patented hard gel tape formula will have you back in the action in no time. Can be found everywhere the finest mechs are sold. Not suitable for repairing fusion engine shielding, Gauss rifle coils, and has been known to influence the bedding habits of various megafauna.
All right, we're back again. And this time, we're going medieval on your blood asp. That's right, it's Physical Weapons 2.0 Core Edition. Woo! This had less of a change than the armors, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it was needed, especially to keep it in line with the physical attack changes that we talked about before. Like, punches are now -1, kicks are also now -1, so everything had to be rebalanced a little bit.
Yeah. They didn't, like, redo completely, but they did touch on them. So,
Yes.
We're going to touch on those touches. Yeah. Because that's what the physical weapons do. Steve, you ready?
I'm ready.
Heck yeah. All right. Like you already mentioned, Denim, punches are -1, kicks are -1. We just need to keep that in our brains when we go through all these. The claw, first up alphabetically. It has changed. The base target number modifier has gone from +1 to 0. So it got better, but also is now worse than punching still.
Yeah, but it does more damage, so it's okay. I'm okay with it being a 0. I hated the +1 so much.
I mean, it just felt like RMs.
Yeah, 0 feels right to me. And especially because they are unwieldy, their claws. They do more damage than a punch, but they're harder to hit with a punch. So, risk reward. Super happy about that. A 0 feels right, though. I've been using them a lot.
Yeah. So punches are 1 damage for every 10 tons. Kicks are 1 damage for every 5 tons. This is in the middle. This is 1 point of damage for every 7 tons.
Yes. And unlike any other physical weapon, you can use these twice if you have one on each hand.
Yes. And now they have specified, because this was not a thing last year, or any year before this, I should say, you can have a claw and a regular hand actuator and punch with both.
Yes.
That
Not on the same hand.
Not on the same hand. No, the claw replaces the hand actuator technology-wise.
You can never have a claw and a hand on the same arm. That is impossible for mech building rules.
But if you have like a hand, your left hand is a claw and your right hand is a hand, you can still do 2 punches.
Correct. A punch and a claw.
Punch and a claw. Correct. It was written weirdly before where it was not legal to do that.
Yeah.
So
I think the intent was that you could, but it was so vague that everyone's just like, we're just not going to let you do it because I don't really know the real answer. But now it has been very much clarified.
Steve, I know you're a big claw fan.
I've never used a claw.
They're great.
I like clamps on crabs, but I've never actually used a claw weapon. So I'm excited to use them now that we've got plastic Contios. I'm sure that I'll get my opportunity to do that. But again, physical attacks are Desgro, so we don't do that here.
Yeah, I hate to say there's only like 24 claw mechs. Most of them Solaris-y thingies.
Yeah, they're not terribly common. No. But again, I think we'll see more of them.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The hatchet. Guess what, guys?
Good old reliable hatchet.
Yeah, no changes made. But we have to talk about it because technically the entire physical attack curve changed.
Yes. Like no change happened, but I kind of think maybe it should have.
Yeah, so to reiterate, hatchets are still doing kick damage to 1 point of damage for every 5 tons. It's still a -1, and it still has the hit location table option of either full body at the -1 or just legs or just punch table at a +4 to the -1. So it's technically a +3, right, Denim?
Correct. That's very important. So you do not replace the -1 with the +4. You add the +4 to the -1, making it an effective +3.
Yeah, because
that hit location option can be applied to different types of physical weapons. So it's standardization, because not all physical weapons are -4 or in -1.
Yeah, I've never used the hit location option table. Before.
I think I've only used it with a Nodachi with the sword.
Yeah, and we'll get there.
Just because it was cool.
Yeah. We cannot do aimed physical attacks even with weapons. So there's that.
Right. But with the -1 the hatchet gives, it's still exactly the same difficulty as punching or kicking, whereas it used to be a little bit easier than a punch, but now it's not. Now it's the same.
Yeah. How do we feel? Where did the hatchet land after this? Steve, where do you feel?
In relation to punches now, getting a -1 as well, for the extra damage you get out of a hatchet, I think that feels okay. My initial reaction is, but the hatchets got worse because they didn't have their to hit number adjusted, right?
Yeah.
Like a punch. But I think in general, if you're getting the damage boost, I think a -1 for hatchet is just fine. Right?
Now that everything's a -1, I'm more okay with it being a -1 rather than it being just worse than a kick for kick damage.
I was going to agree with Steve there that first impression, I'm like, it got nerfed because it's a -1, but it still does what it's always done, and it still does it well, and I don't really think that it needed to be changed. So yes, I'm agreeing that no change is actually the proper change for this weapon.
Good old reliable hatchet.
All right, next up, we're talking lances. Lance in your pants, Lance Armstrong. I'm excited about these lances, boys.
I'm excited. This is great. I have a really important question about lances when we get there, but yeah.
But we get there when we get there?
Yeah, I have never, ever once used a lance. I've never played a mech with a lance.
I think Jason Hanser brought a lance last year to Southern Assault.
Yep, he was trying to lance people through the back and out the front.
Yep, I remember 2 people took them to Southern Assault. I remember one person was super excited and then asked me for the first game, how do they work? And I was like, you brought the lance, you read the lance. There's a question on the Sportsman. Did the person take equipment they knew the rules for? Yeah. So yeah, lances, they are a +1 to hit. In lance, like punch, normal physical attack, I am lancing you. It is a +1. It is kick damage. So it's 1 point of damage for every 5 tons. And on a 9-up, once you hit a location with armor, it does 1 internal damage on the inside. So it bypasses the armor. It does 1 point on a 9-up, causing a critical check, like the cascade, like normal. So it's a 9-up to do the damage, and then an 8-up to do a crit, like normal. That's right? right?
Yeah, pokes little holes.
Pokes little holes.
I mean, flavor-wise, I think it works.
Yeah.
All right? It's nothing crazy.
But then we get to what the lance really does, which is, or it can be used in a charge mode. That is, if you charge your target mech, the whole thing stays like roughly the same, but that target number of doing the internal damage goes to a 5-up.
Way better.
Yeah, that's super cool. Because you said like you just charge your opponent. No, you gallantly race across the battlefield and level your lance. You have to describe it. You got to sell it to these people. Yeah, you can do a charge attack damage. No, gallantly, with your noble steed, ride into battle.
But you don't even need to run to charge anymore. You could just take one step forward, and it changes it from a 9-up to a 5-up.
Absolutely destroys the aesthetic. No, absolutely not. You have to run your full distance.
I understand the aesthetic. I just need people to understand the rules, though, because I'm all about a good story. But yeah. So if you've got a lance, you want to always be charging. Now that means you can't shoot any of your weapons if you're charging. So that is your choice. That is the trade-off there.
No, you just have to remember the ABCs of lances. Always be
charging.
Yeah. So you just have to do a normal charge, and it's just if you have a lance, the first location facing that charge damage is applied. So, yeah. And of course, there's the caveat. If you have 2 lances, you stab them with both.
This is the line that I was so excited for, because I read this in the book and I'm like, that's ridiculous. What mech has 2 lances? So I looked it up.
Yeah.
There's the Nix 90 and the Volk 1. Those both have 2 lances, which is insane, and I love it.
Now, you only do damage with 1 lance if you've got 2 lances and you're charging, but you make the armor piercing check twice. So you're not doubling the damage of the lance.
I accept that. I'm okay with, I stabbed them with the charging ability, but I get to do it twice now. Not the damage, the ability. So
if you can crit the head of a mech and punch the pilot out the back, you get an achievement.
So Steve's real excited about lances. I mean, I will probably never run them. I do have someone locally who loves the Nix, and he runs it as often as he can. And now I know the rules and why I should be scared of this little thing. But I just like the idea of running as something with 2 sticks on your hands to poke them in the eyes. I think that's fun.
The old Knight's Tale.
Seems very Steiner to me.
All right. This one's for me, my little brigand. The brigand that could, but mainly could not. The mace. And the reason why it could not is because maces were bad before. They still are not great because there's still a +1 to hit, but they're 1 damage for every 4 tons. So they hard hitting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird math, but okay.
Well, kicks are 1 for every 5. Maces are 1 for every 4, which I don't think we have any other can do more than kick. Kick was the standard. Mace says I can do better.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a lot of sense considering it gets the +1 that but again, now we got to evaluate this based on everything else.
How many maces are there?
Well, not only that, but if everything else is, because again, the previous it used to be -2 for a kick, 0 for a punch, and a +1 for a mace, right? But it's also, and you had a -1 for a hatchet too thrown in there, right? But now the only benefit of a mace is the extra damage, but you're still getting a +1, which is going to be 2 higher than a regular punch, which it used to be just 1 higher than a regular punch. So,
it's hard to justify, but yeah.
But it's so much damage. It really is.
The problem is
if you've got TSM, because then TSM just doubles that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So first I need to state, it used to be when you missed with a mace and when you're at a +1, you're missing half the time. You had to have a PSR to see if you fell down. And the one time I attempted a mace, like with my pirate brigand, it fell down. I was like, great. that was just a regular PSR. And I was so mad. But now that's been deleted. So now it's just the +1 hit and the damage. There are...
like it got better because it doesn't have a PSR. That's fine.
Yeah,
but
it's now a free attempt, and I appreciate that. I'm like, I'm not going to hit every time. Just let me give the attempt. There's only 16 mechs with this.
Yeah, but the VP9 Viper is one of them, and that's the one that's the only mace that I've used that has 4 plasma cannons on one arm and the mace on the other arm. It is scary.
One of Bobby's new customs has a mace. Maybe I'll use that.
Yeah. Yeah, the Viper VP9 has a mace in the right arm. It does 18 damage.
That's 18 damage, yeah.
On a 70-ton mech, yeah.
Yeah.
The Cudgel is I almost said lightest, is the heaviest one at 80 tons. That has TSM. That mace does 20 damage normally or 40 damage TSM-ly.
No, that's not a mace. That's a baseball bat in the hands of, that's... Babe Ruth is going to knock you out of the park with that one.
Yeah. So my Brigand got not better, but not worse. That's.
I mean, it's a little better.
It's a little better.
You wouldn't fall down. That's a bonus.
I will say I did discover the Nodachi 3S, the Steiner salvage variant. That one has TSM and a mace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some good stuff because it's like 36 points of damage or something like that.
18 going up to 36, but then the rest of the weapons are like medium VSPs, medium pulses, small pulses. Like, oh gosh. The Steiners took the DCMS melee boy and was like, what if we made it more melee? So, yeah, that might also be coming to a table near you. All right.
I like the mace. I know it's got a +1 to hit. I don't care. I like it. You don't fall over anymore. I thought that was the worst part about it, and that's been fixed. So everything else about it, I'm fine with.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Denim, I'm gonna throw this one to you because a lot changed with this, and there's got some vague wording that I had to pause and not understand. So, teach me about the retractable blades, Denim.
They have changed a little bit. I have a very special place in my heart for retractable blades. My brother used one on his Spider all the time, and it has killed many pilots. What it is it's a blade that you can retract. Ta-da. A lot of times you just keep it out. And if you do that, it does punch damage, but it has the -2 to hit that a sword does. So it's way easier to hit your punches. So if you're having trouble, or say you jump a lot, like with a Venom, you jump a lot, you jump in there, you pop out the blade, and you can just attack and do punch damage much more easily. Or you can keep it sheathed and punch someone with it. And if you hit with the punch, then you could just pop it out like a hole punch. So you do punch, you do normal punch damage, and when you pop it out, it's kind of like the lance in that it will give you a possible crit chance. And that's where things get weird. So the way it says if the punch hits and after the hit location is rolled, its controller can choose to immediately extend and retract that blade. Like I said, hold punch. This causes a critical hit check in the location struck by the punch. And that applies whether or not the internal structure is damaged. So when that happens now, you immediately roll a 1d6. And on a 1, the blade breaks off. So you can't use it anymore. If you have it retracted and you're just using it as punches, those never break unless you get a critical hit on them from like somebody else doing damage to you. So yeah, you either pop it out and use it like daggers that only do punch damage, or you keep it sheathed, which is the preferable method, which used to be an optional rule, but now it's standard, which is great. I think it should always have been standard because that was its cool trick. And then you hole punch things. So you punch him in the head, pop it out, kill the pilot.
Now, Denim, I think the one thing that you missed in that was if you do a punch and you hit internal structure and then you decide to pop the blade out, you can get 2 critical hit checks.
That's true. I did not specifically mention that, but it is 100% how that works. And that is, in fact, important. So good catch.
Now, my question is, because it's written weirdly, where it says if instead used with a punch attack. So that means, do I get a -2 on the normal blade attack if it's already out and I'm just stabbing?
Yeah.
But if I do the, ninja punch stab, I don't use the -2. I use the -1 from a punch, right?
Correct. It is just a normal punch. And if you hit with that punch and after you roll the location, then you can choose whether or not you want to pop it out. So you don't get the -2 for that. It's only a -1 for a standard punch. And that's your risk reward type there.
Yeah,
and then you also risk breaking it if you do that. But in almost every case, it's worth it.
Right. I mean, unless it's something like a crossbow, that's the nice thing because you get to decide, hey, I hit a crossbow in the left torso. Well, there's nothing there. Do I want to, they would
transfer. Yeah. I was
so then
I'm doing
you
that.
absolutely do. Yeah.
Yeah. But say it's full of just junk that you don't care about. And you can be like, I don't want to risk breaking my blade. I'm not going to do it. I'm going for that headshot. And that's what I'm going to save it for.
The after the hit location is rolled is a weird out of sequence thing for Battletech.
Yeah, it is, but it's important with this because
it is important. I'm just like, wow, that's the one time where it's like, I didn't declare this in the declaration phase. I get to choose when it happens, and will it be good or bad? So that's just some weird thing to think about. All right. So again, something the Greyhound for Southern Assault has.
Neat.
Yeah. All right.
But it's just got one, right?
It's just got one.
It's got one.
It's got a big old bomb-ass laser in the other arm. I can't get rid of that. All right, Steve.
Yes.
We just talked about retractable blades. We just talked about maces. That was a lot of offense. We're going to include this in the physical weapons because it technically is as well. To walk us through shields, Steve, we're not going to announce this as the second attempt, but let the record show we're 20 minutes into our hour-long discussion on shields, starring Steve.
So the problem is shields are one of the more complicated elements in this weapons and equipment section.
Yeah.
Right. And it took me several rereads and I got it wrong the first time we tried to record this. So bear with me.
No, this is the thing that even with it being in TAC Ops, I never tried to use it.
Yeah, they're a little weird.
And so, this is the better version.
Yeah. Yeah, this got worked out much better than it was in TAC Ops, but it's still surprisingly complicated. So first thing we got to start with is there are 3 shield sizes: small, medium, and large. There are 2, I would call them,
defining characteristics.
Yeah, I was going to call them attributes, right? We'll call them attributes for the shield. It's the damage absorbance and the damage capacity. I wish that these terms had been a little bit clearer, but the damage absorbance is how much damage is reduced when you take incoming damage. The damage capacity is the number of times that the shield can take damage and still function. Okay? It's not necessarily the amount of damage that it receives, but it is the number of times it receives damage, right?
So a Valiant, we'll go with that. That's a small shield. He's a little guy. The damage absorbance is 3. So that means every time it takes damage onto that location, subtract 3, reduce it by 3. And it can do that 11 times.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. 11 times. So what does a shield protect? There's a positional kind of toggle on and off with a shield. Mm-hmm. If you just have it on your left arm and it's lowered by your side, you're just standing there, the shield only protects the left arm.
Makes sense.
If you, quote unquote, raise the shield for the phase, and this is important, at the start of a phase, a mech may raise its shield. It will then extend its protection to the center torso and everything on the side that the shield is mounted. So if it's on my left arm, it's going to cover my left arm, my center torso, my left torso, and my left leg. As a penalty for that, I am not allowed to fire any weapons, including AMS systems, on the left side of my body unless they're rear mounted. Oof. So if I've got a medium laser in my center or my left torso or my center torso even, I cannot fire those. So I'd be limited to right torso, right arm weapons only. Or I guess a right leg if you've got something down there. Now, any attacks that come in from the rear always bypass shield protection, which kind of threw me for a loop because in Alpha Strike, a shield protects 360, right? So this was kind of like but yeah, in core rules, rear attacks bypass a shield. Tag doesn't do anything about that. Shields also do not prevent heat damage from getting through, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Now we get to how shields function with damage, right? How do they reduce damage and stop you from hurting? When you take damage and it goes into one of the protected locations. So if my arm is by my side and you hit my left arm, it activates. Or if I've got it raised and you hit me in the left torso or my center torso, the shield's going to come into play here. The DA, or damage absorption value, reduces damage that's coming in. So for a small, it's 3. For a medium shield, it's 5. For a large shield, it's 7. So you're going to reduce that damage as such. Any leftover damage is then going to hit that location, right? So it kind of flows over, goes through the shield as necessary. Now, what you need to note is any damage that is absorbed by the shield does not count for PSR calculations. Right?
Oh.
So if you've got a large shield and it hits that torso, cool. You negate it entirely or say something like a PPC and you're going to take that 10 damage. Congratulations. Only 3 of that is going to count for your PSR.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's absolutely
super nice.
Now what you're going to do is after you've applied the damage, either it's been all reduced or it goes through, your damage capacity number is going to be reduced by 1 for each instance that it absorbs damage. Okay? So a small shield can block damage 11 times, a medium shield can block damage 18 times, and a large shield can block damage 25 times. So this is where like LBX pellets would be great for ripping a shield off somebody.
And that feels weird. I would feel like the shield would be better against that, but
I mean, if maybe
take a Pharaoh Lamb mech and put a shield on it for the big guns.
Whoa, gross.
Is it a Pharaoh Lamb shield? Does it reduce damage by 1? Tech Manual refuses to answer.
Now, if you do take an actuator hit on the arm that is holding the shield, you're going to subtract 1 from both its damage absorption and its damage capacity. Or you're going to subtract 2 if it's the shoulder. Okay?
Man, that's pretty rough for a light shield because that's just barely doing 1 damage reduction.
Yeah. Now, if either your damage absorption value hits 0 or the damage capacity value hits 0, the shield no longer effectively you drop it or it breaks off or it's in such a rough state that you can't use it anymore. It falls off. Now, the one thing we didn't talk about is certain sized shields have mobility modifiers, right? So if you drop the shield, the mobility modifier goes away. A small shield doesn't do anything to your movement. A medium shield is going to reduce your MP by 1, and a large shield is going to do reduced movement by 1, and you're not allowed to jump with it. It's just too big. Right? So you got to keep that in mind as well. If you take a critical hit and it goes into the shield critical slot, it's going to destroy the slot, not the shield. It's going to destroy the slot and subtract 1 from the damage absorption value and 5 from its capacity. If you get a floating critical hit to a location that is currently protected by the shield, it is dealt to the shield, not to the location.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and then no slot will be marked off, but the absorption value and the capacity value are reduced as if the slot had been destroyed. So lots of moving pieces there for how shields get destroyed. There's a note here about armor piercing weapons, right? So things like lances or AP ammo, they don't have any effect when dealt to a shield. The standard damage is still dealt. So
they don't get through the shield, but they do damage.
Right. So the shield does what the shield is supposed to do.
That's good. I'd feel really bad if the shield was worthless on that.
Right. Now, the reason we have it in the physical weapons section, that was all just precursor knowledge as to how to get your damage reduced.
Gosh.
Now we're here for the main course, the shield bash. Everybody wants to punch someone in the face with a shield. I know I do. If a mech punches with an arm that has a shield attached, it's a +1 to the attack. Nope, I lied. Scratch that. If a mech is going to make a punch attack with the arm that has the shield mounted on it, you get +1 damage to that punch's base damage per size of the shield. So a small shield is +1, +2 base damage for the medium, +3 for the large shield. And if a mech charges and raises its own shield in the physical attack phase, each damage grouping that it takes from the charge is automatically assigned to hit the location that is shield covered. And that's the shield, right?
Yeah, so like super nice.
Yeah, if you're going to charge somebody, you can just kind of put the shield up and, you're going to soak most of the damage. Now, granted, you're going to have to take your DC penalties, your capacity penalties for, the number of times that the cluster hits are going to hit that. But heck, I mean, medium shield's going to stop that damage coming through. You may break your own shield, but with, 18 uses, that's a lot of clusters of 5 that it can soak up.
Yeah.
And that's shields. They're a lot. You read it a couple times before you try them, but they sound fun.
So how many mechs have shields, Steve?
Steve.
Josh has those numbers. Over to Josh.
So there are 15 mechs with shields, and I was wrong. There are cannon mechs with multiple shields. There are 2. The Atlas 3 and the Colossus. And they just have 2 small shields, one on each arm.
Right.
And after Steve was describing, like, okay, well, they can protect both. You can still shoot with them. Like, that's kind of cool. So you can be offensive mode or defensive mode. And then if you want to charge, you can do damage and then block the damage.
Yep, because I knew that one of the changes that they made in going from TAC Ops to here is the ability to raise 2 shields, because you used to be able to do that. And now they're just like, that's way too complicated. We're just cutting all that out. So they just put it in the one line saying you can only raise 1 at a time.
Yeah. Because otherwise, based on what we just described here, you'd effectively be immune to any, even if they're small, right? I mean, any damage cluster of 3 or lower, you're just ignoring entirely.
But you're also ignoring basically armor piercing and tax.
Yeah.
Dang, take me back to Total Warfare, boys. And by Total Warfare, I mean TAC Ops, where it should have belonged.
Here's the thing. I think there are enough mechs out there with shields, especially the Black Knight with a shield. I think people want to use them. I think they're cool, and I don't think they're prolific enough that they cause too many problems. But I'm glad the rules are in here.
Yeah. The rules here are less than a page. They used to be much, much more prolific, and it was confusing. I like the changes they made.
I like the attempt at making it easy.
It's just cleaner.
Yeah.
The problem is you have a lot of moving pieces, so you just have to take it one step at a time.
Yeah. Try it out like 2-on-2 Solaris style. Bring the Black Knight or one of the many Solaris shield mechs. So, all right. Thank you, Steve. Your service to the Mechbay listeners will be remembered for eras.
Assuming I got any of this right.
Look, there's a DA, there's a DC. They do the things. That's all you got to know. All right, let's move on to a fun one, which is also as complicated, but I'm not going to go in depth to it. Spikes. Defensively, spikes reduce damage from physicals in a location by 4 damage. So if someone punches you in that location with a spike, subtract 4. So it's kind of like a shield, but for physicals.
Yeah. Well, minimum of 1. So you're always going to do some damage.
Yeah.
So they're not going to negate it totally, but 4 is a lot.
Yeah. And then the attacker, because they punched location, they take 2 damage because they stabbed themselves. Unless it was from a physical weapon, but not the physical weapon we're talking about. I'm talking like clubs, like a not attached physical weapon. Because distinctions, right? But that's not why we take spikes. We take spikes to put them on celerities and run them stupid fast at you. That was the old way of being an oppressive person that was mean and didn't belong at your table. Now they just add 2 damage for every torso location with spikes to the damage that it does. And they absorb the 4 damage from the charge. So, that whole like damage thing we did before, like the old celerity that had spikes and ran at you would do like 70 damage. Well, now it does like 24. It does 20, and then it does 4 extra for the spikes.
Right, because the spikes are added like after all the other modifiers are done.
Yeah.
So it's not like the before the multipliers. It's after everything else.
Yep. And it's only the torso location of spikes. And it's only got 2 torso locations with spikes. So it only adds 4 damage.
So it's adding injury to insult?
It's adding... It's been insulted, and it's now adding less injury. They're fun. They're a Solaris thing. They're in here. I don't know why they're in here. Hopefully we get some more spike mechs. I guess that's the only thing. It'd be cool to get some impact-resistant armor mechs with spikes.
Do we want spikes? Would it be cool, Josh? You said it'd be cool. I'm not sure that it would.
If there were mechs designed like, hey, this is my Shadowhawk that has impact-resistant armor and spikes, like it goes down and beats people up, and when they try to punch him back, he takes less damage and they take more damage. That's kind of cool. I'll admit that's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you've got a pirate band who doesn't have very many weapons or is lacking ammo, then you've got some seriously offensive options.
Yeah.
And what would be really cool is if you did want a WYSIWYG a model.
Yeah.
You could take toothpicks and glue them on the mech to represent the spike. That'd be kind of, all right, I kind of want a spike mech.
Yeah.
Let me get my toothpicks. Hold on.
Or just cut some off of the Gothic models.
And I will say there is a destruction check to see if your spikes break off because they're wooden. They're wooden toothpicks. So yeah, it changed. It went from a 2d6 to a 1d6.
Hey, if you got a hull breach, they still work just fine. Like a hull breach is not going to make your spikes break.
Yeah. All right, well, we only got 3 more, and they're real easy because not a whole lot changed on either of them. But we have to talk about them because they are. All right, here's the big one. It was always a loser. Now it's a better loser. We're talking about the sword. It's a -2 to hit. It's not changed, but a -2 is now the best -2.
It is one of the best hitting ones out there. It still does the exact same damage. That's 1 per 10 tons plus an additional 1.
Why? Well, I'm not going to ask the universe why it is punch damage +1, but there's that. But like we discussed with the hatchet, it does have the hit location table option. So -2 +4. Now you're at only a +2 to hit on the punch table.
Right. The +2 to hit on the punch table, plus the fact that 1 damage per 10 +1 doubled is 12. So a 55-ton mech with a sword and TSM can go around decapitating people. You can give it a Vorpal blade.
Can't it just punch at -1 for the exact same damage with a -1?
Sorry, I meant a 50-ton mech.
Yeah. So can't a
50-ton mech.
So that's cool and all, Denim, but a mech with TSM with a hand actuator, not a sword, is still punching on the punch table for a -1 instead of a +2.
Yeah, but swords are cool.
Okay, we're going to move on. The sword
is still definitely a weapon that is just for people like me who think that story is more important than efficiency. Swords are cool. I want a giant robot with a sword decapitating other giant robots. That's what I want.
I need to put a plea out in the universe. I would really like a variant of a Highlander with a sword, but there can only be one of them.
There can only be one of them.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I think someone really didn't want the sword to be good at all. There are 33 sword mechs. They're all... I'm looking through them. Nope. Don't use the sword, people.
I am. Nodachi for the win.
Yeah, Nodachi with the mace.
I'm down with it.
With the mace. All right. Let's move on. Talons.
I love these. These are great.
Hey, Jade Falcons don't use melee weapons. Remember that, Steve.
I just said there was Desgra, and then the Dark Age happened, and we decided that Talons were great because if the Inner Sphere is going to break all the rules, then we'll just throw the rules out. And then the Inner Sphere cried when we started nuking planets. So that's on them.
All right, Jade Falcon man, tell me about Talons.
Talons. They increase damage from a DFA and kicks by 1.5, which is kind of great.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. You also get the TSM bonus on a kick, which is pretty fantastic. You need to have 2 to get the DFA damage bonus, right? Regardless of how many legs are being kicked, you got to have 2 of them to get that bonus. I have only used Talons once, and it was on a Turkina in Mega Mech.
Yeah, it's so much damage.
I kicked it back in half. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But they're there. Caw.
All 10 mechs of them. There's a Caesar with Talons. That's weird.
Bizarre.
Yeah. It was the Dark Age, man. We don't talk about it. So, yeah. It's a thing, I guess. Well, we got one more. Let's get it, because it's just sword plus. It's vibroblades, guys. I'm sorry.
It's for the people who wanted Gundam in their Battletech.
Yeah, and
so they work the same as a sword. Like if they're turned off, they are a sword. But if they're turned on, you have 3 groups. You have the small, the medium, and the large. If it's turned on, the small does 7 damage. Doesn't matter how much you weigh. Medium does 10 damage, large does 14. So they're really good for light mechs who want a real amount of damage for their melee attacks. They are compatible with TSM, but only when they are turned off, with the caveat that they can never do more base damage than if they were turned on. So if you have a mech that's heavy enough that has a medium vibroblade, and normally it would do like 22 points of damage with TSM, it's restricted to only 20 points of damage because its damage cap is maxed out at 10 before TSM, no matter how heavy you are. So they're like magic swords with restrictions.
I mean, we got 21 of these guys floating out there, right? A lot of these look like uniques or specials. The only one that I really might use is on I was about to call it the Ryobi, the Roku.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's
a light mech.
Steve.
It's a light mech that normally does crappy damage with the sword, but it does decent damage with a vibroblade.
I got to get one of these and paint it lime green, like the Ryobi brand. That's what's going to happen. Yep. I'm going to make my Ryobi.
I will admit, Steve, the other day I was walking around the neighborhood and I saw a bright green Ryobi lawnmower, and I almost took a picture of it and like, look, they've got a mech.
Yeah, because I can't say Roku B. That's really hard. I don't know why.
I blame the Dark Age clicks game for these. Like, these are 100% that, and I don't think there's a mech that's really made better by the inclusion of a vibroblade.
Yeah, I mean,
we all can't be winners. There's got to be bad things. I mean, the Dola, I have a Dola. It is a 30-tonner. It has a medium vibroblade. So it's doing 10 damage consistently at -2.
There's a Dig Lord with a medium vibroblade. What?
Yeah. Like I said, we all can't be winners, and we all can't be Dig Lords. All right. Those are physical weapons. How do we feel now that the whole system has changed, where it's now just doing a physical attack base is -1?
Yeah, I think the balance for the 2 hits is fine. I like the lance being +1. I like the mace being +1. I love the claws being 0, and the swords should be -2. Like that hasn't changed. I think that balance is totally fine. So that's where I stand with that.
So where's the balance not right then?
Well,
you left that really open ended. Like, I'm okay with the hit numbers.
It's the inclusion of what they've got. I think for core, we could have had less of these. And it feels to me like they were working on things like shields and spikes and even vibroblades would be great for Solaris. And I know that they're talking about a new Solaris box set, and these would be great and a wonderful inclusion. But I think they realize that is going to take much, much too long for it to come out. And there's a few mech sheets that have these weapons that they didn't want to not include. So they crammed them into the core book so that we'd all have access to them. But I really think that a lot of these would have been a good bonus to have inside a Solaris box. And I'm positive like that's where flails would come into.
Yeah.
You know, they'd have the flails in there and the goo gun in the Solaris box. But I think that spikes could also have been in there, and even shields, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the winners were always the winners. Like, they didn't. Punches and kicks stole the show and left all the other physical weapons in the dust. At least Hatchet is now equal rather than a bad addition. Like,
yeah,
kicks,
and there are canonically sword-shaped hatchets, so that they look like swords, but they act like a hatchet, so they're better.
Yeah, so I think that's where I am. It's like kick going down made hatchets better. Removing the damage or the miss PSR on a mace was good. There's still only so many mace ones. And claws, yay. You can punch with, like, it's not +1 anymore, it's +0. Oh.
Claws were also super important because the starter box has a mech with claws on it. There are a lot of mechs with swords. I am very happy they included the sword in there. So yeah, it's just a couple of them that the cumbersome ones. The cumbersome ones where you can't just look at it and be like, okay, here's the stats. Even the lance, the shield, the spikes. Like, I think all of those could have been in a Solaris set.
I was just going to say, we were also dealing with can't change the sheets. So can't fix damage, can't fix anything that was printed on a sheet. So DA and DC printed on sheets. Sorry. All right, Steve, what are your thoughts?
I think the one thing that annoys me in this physical weapons section that is talked about in other areas of the book that is not included here is clubs. They didn't list clubs in this section of the book. And if you want to look up clubs, you got to find them back in the other sections, right? And it's like, it feels kind of weird that you would, I mean, I get it. They're not like
you don't bring one onto the field, like attach it to your mech in construction. Like, it's not on the record sheet.
Right. But if I'm looking for rules on, I pick up a club, cool. How do I, like, what's the damage on it? How do I use it? Why is it not in the physical weapons section? That's a gripe for me. I mean,
not in the physical weapons, but it's in the physical attack section.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying if I'm looking for reference material and I want to find out what they do, I think they should all be together.
They have a reference back to the physical attack section, but it's not calling out clubs is the problem. Like, they could have been like, and clubs, like just an and clubs onto the line that says, go check out the physical attack section on page 76 would have fixed that, because then if you're looking up clubs, I just need to go look over there.
Yeah, you got to go.
At least it would be a reference.
Yeah, you got to go to page 79 for clubs.
Didn't even think about that, but you are totally correct that was a missed opportunity.
But balance wise, I think the rest of these are fine. I mean, I didn't do a lot of physical attacks because I mostly played clan mechs, so they're not designed for physical attacks. Right. So it's like, okay, whatever. I'll just shoot you instead. Works for me.
Yeah. And if you get close enough, I'll just kick you. It's the king.
That was it.
Is king. So
now, if I had to pick one of these that I wanted to try going forward, I'd love to try a mace. Just the idea of beating the ever-living snot out of a mech with a giant chunk of steel feels awesome.
Well, that VP9 Viper that I was talking about, like I said, a lot of this feels right at home in Solaris, and that's what we were doing. We were playing Solaris. I took the Viper in a Solaris match. It is fantastic, and it has a mace, and that's I would use a lot of this stuff in Solaris matches because it's fun.
I mean, the Viper is on the summer release list for Ironwind medals. Just gotta wait.
Which summer?
This summer. 2026.
We're almost at the end of summer, Josh. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah.
Soon, TM.
Let me put in the number. Not yet. So soon. And then everyone will be running 4 plasma cannons and maces.
Awesome.
I am, like, for reals.
All right, boys. Well, any other thoughts on armors or physical weapons? Just now we have better armors and weapons are meh still.
I mean, no, I like the physical weapons. Just because they're wordy or cumbersome doesn't mean that they don't have a place. I just think that they would have been better introduced somewhere else. I think the balance is good.
Oh no, I mean like each armor has its own distinct personality now, and physical weapons just still feel like 40-year-old add-ons.
No, I think that that they've all got their own personality as well. If we're going with that, I mean, they got some good ones and bad ones. Just like reactive armor is not good, and so yeah, you've got pluses and minuses in both sections. But a mace definitely feels different than a sword to me, like very distinctively different.
Yeah, I'm happy. I didn't use a lot of these weapons to begin with, but I'm very, very pleased with how the armor shaped out. So.
Try claws, dude. There's a Crusader with claws.
Yeah, I saw those.
It's fantastic.
I really want to try a retractable blade because that just feels cool to like bop.
It is. It is cool.
So,
well, alrighty, folks. Steve, Denham, thanks for coming on again tonight. Thanks for talking about physical weapons and armors.